Hey everyone, this is Kenji, and we're gonna grill some pizza. So, I've done enough videos to show you how to make dough, so I'm not gonna show you how to make dough. I'll refer back to, link back to one of those videos if in case you're wondering. But this is just a regular old pizza dough. This one is 65% hydration, 3% salt, 2% yeast, same day dough. It's been rising. It rose bulk ferment at room temperature for about 4 hours or so, and then I split it up into these 3 balls, and those have been sitting at room temp for a further 2 hours. And so for this style of pizza, this style of pizza, grilled pizza, was actually the very first restaurant job, the second restaurant job I ever had. It was at a place in Cambridge called Cambridge 1. It was a grilled pizza place. And there we based our technique off of the same technique that they use at Al Forno, which is the restaurant that invented grilled pizza in Providence, Rhode Island. So there we would use, we had these big rolling grates that would pull out over a bed of hardwood fire, over a hardwood fire. So you light the hardwood, let it burn down to coals, and then there's this big grate. So you'll notice what I'm doing is I'm rolling it out with a rolling pin. So this style of pizza, there's no outer crust really, outer lip on the crust, and you kind of roll it oblong, and all this kind of makes it easier to handle on the grill. And meanwhile, what I've done is I have all my toppings ready. So for grilled pizza, there's no heat coming from above. So any kind of topping that needs to be cooked, like say sausage, or in this case mushrooms, any kind of topping that needs to be cooked needs to be pre-cooked, because it's not going to really get much heat from above, so it's not going to cook from above. So what I have set up here is a 2-zone fire. So I lit a chimney starter full of charcoal, and I spread it over one half of the grill grates, and the other half I left empty. And that's sort of key to managing this style of pizza. All right, so what we're gonna do now, I've got some garlic oil here. So this is I just crushed up some garlic in a mortar and pestle with a little pinch of salt, added some olive oil. I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna brush one side of this dough with that garlic oil. Okay, let me get this excess oil off my board, because we're not going to want that when we're rolling out our second one. Sprinkle with just a little salt. You can also do black pepper if you'd like. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it oiled side down over the coals like that. Now this is going to cook fast, so you got to really be careful with it, okay? In fact, this one might be a little bit too hot right now, because we definitely don't want these flames like that. You see how that flame is giving it that kind of sootiness? So what I'm going to do is spin the grill around. Oh, I see why. It's because I accidentally left a chunk of hardwood over there that was not fully combusted. All right, so if you see that. So that's why I find it really nice to have this 2-zone fire. With a pair of tongs, you can easily spin the dough around like that. All right, and so while that first side grills a little, we're going to brush the other side with a bit of that garlic oil as well. Oops. All right, so that's looking pretty good. We're gonna let this, those little bits that were still not quite brown yet, you want it to be sort of golden, sort of charred and browned all over relatively evenly. And if you want to, you can sort of get like a crosshatch pattern by rotating it over the coals a little bit. It's looking great. Okay. So at the restaurant, what we would do is we would grill that first side, and then we'd be really ready, and as soon as we put that pizza down like that, we'd start topping it. I find that that's a little bit difficult sometimes at home, because, well, most home cooks are a little bit more relaxed in terms of the rate at which they want to cook things. So what I find much easier is to grill both sides of the pizza, both sides of the bread, top it, and then you'll see what I'll do. I'll put it back over the cooler side of the grill. to let it finish cooking and to get all the toppings melted. It works much better. So at the restaurant, you didn't have the advantage of a dome, like a cover, which we do have here, which is what's going to allow us to top it and then allow those toppings to kind of heat up and melt. At the restaurant I worked at, what you had to do was, well, basically you would spread the cheese on the bottom and then dollop the sauce on top, and the heat of the hot crust that you just flipped over would be enough to melt that cheese. And the trick is you had to work really, really fast, which I find, in my experience, most home cooks do not want to work as fast as that requires. They want a little bit more leisure time. I want a little more leisure time when I'm cooking at home too. The other advantage that this method of working a few pieces at a time offers, or topping to the side offers, is that you can cook off a bunch of these bases and have them ready, and then top them and stick them over on the cooler side of the grill, so that you have, in fact, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to leave this one here. Meanwhile, I'm going to cook another ball of dough. Oh. I don't know where I put my rolling pin, which is why I'm using this wine bottle here. Alright, so we got that garlic oil again. I hate this brush. I don't know where I got it, but never again. I think it was like 99 cents at Target. Alright, this is going to go over the hot side. And while that one's cooking, I'm going to top this guy off. So, let's see, let's do this side up. So here we're going to put our cheese along the bottom so that it melts a little better, and then I'm going to kind of do it the way like a New Jersey tomato pie is done, which is where you kind of swirl the sauce around on top. In this case, the sauce is just straight up San Marzano tomatoes that I've buzzed a little bit with a hand blender. All right, just like that. Not too heavy on anything on these. Ah, there we go. That second one's actually looking a lot nicer. The first one was probably, I think, a little bit slightly too hot when we got it on there. Which is why you see that little bit of that charring going on. Oh. Oops, I forgot to oil that second side. That's all right. Here, I'll finish this one more the traditional way. So, this one I'm gonna cover up here. We're gonna let it go until those toppings melt. Now this one over here, I'm gonna do the way we did at the restaurant. Although this, of course, we would be doing it directly over the grill, so no cool down period. This is just shredded mozzarella. You could use any kind of melting cheese works, Fontina, mozzarella, cheddar, jack. I got this. Oh, one of the nice things about the fact that all your toppings need to be cooked is that it lets you use leftovers very easily. So this is corn that we had left over from lunch that I grilled, and I just cut it off the cob. I'm gonna do some corn there, and I'll do these little sliced serrano chilies. And some of these fresh cherry tomatoes. Oh, looking good. Cherry tomatoes, and then let's finish it off with, here's some pesto that we made from basil from the garden. There's a few dollops of this here and there. Actually, I'll leave half of this chili free for the, I know there's Not always sure if the kids want chilies on theirs. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. I think Cambridge one is still around. I think they actually have 2 locations now. One, the original one on Church Street in Harvard Square, and I think they have one now over near Fenway Park. All right, let me start this last one. My buddy who lives over in Alameda, he this is like his favorite thing to do in the backyard, and he recently told me that he actually prefers doing it on a gas grill, because what you can do is you can start it over high heat and then top it and then turn the burners down to low, so that, and close the lid so that you can leave the pizza directly in place. You don't have to do all this shuffling around once it's topped, and because you turn the heat down to low, it melts the toppings without you know, burning the crust, which is sort of the only real danger in this thing, this whole endeavor, is potentially burning the crust. All right, so we're gonna top this the way they do at Cambridge one and Al Forno, which is with scallions. You know what? I'm gonna go grab some basil too. Nice. All right. This one's looking great. I'm gonna slide it over to this side. And this garlic, by the way, you can save it and use it as like the base for an alioli, or you can use it as a base for a marinade. There's no reason to get rid of all this garlic once you've depleted the oil supply in there. All right, and I'm just gonna run and grab some basil. All right, let's finish this guy off with a little bit of basil as well. So again, you know, if you're having like a party, or you got like, you want to do something for the kids, where everyone gets to like top their own pizza, what you can do is pre-cook a bunch of crusts and have them ready to go, and then all you got to do is top them, and then you finish them off on the cool side of a grill like this, with the lid on, if on or off if you want, it doesn't really matter. Everything will melt eventually, even with the lid off. And that's like instant pizza party. I guess not instant, but quick pizza party. All right, this last one, let's see if I still got the moves. Ready? I do. Still got it. All right, so this last one, let's do in sort of true fashion, where I'm gonna top it directly over the fire. This is how we were able to make, you know, like whatever it was, 30 pizzas an hour per grill, a pizza a minute, with the 2 different grill setups. What's nice is, you know, this is like one of the few methods where the dough actually cooks like pretty much as fast as it would with a real wood-fired pizza oven. So you get that sort of very similar sort of combination of chewy, or light and fluffy and crisp. I'm going in there with my fingers. This is just some morels and caramelized onions with some thyme, all pre-cooked. So I sauteed all that with olive oil, thyme, butter. I'm just gonna go straight on the grill like that. And let's get this guy off. This one can go here. Let's check our alright. Got finish over there. And let's get our scallions. I think that looks pretty swell. Alright, and then we do like a party cut here, which means we... Oh man, you hear that crispness? Cut it once down the middle this way, and then into things like that. And the trick I learned, actually at Cambridge 1, was that you leave the edges uncut because people like to do this thing where they kind of pull it off like that. Alright, I'm gonna eat this. That was good. So you see that? Charred, crispy, but tender. All right. I got a hungry family here, so I'm gonna get going, but grilled pizza for your next pizza party. All right, see you later.